Hello and welcome to another episode of Real Talk Live. I'm your host Krypton Cage. I'm joined here today by my co-host the Viking and a special guest Max. How are you
Hi
doing?
everyone. I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Good to have you
Awesome,
here,
awesome.
man.
Yeah,
Finally, your
yeah.
schedule is
Thank
free.
you for having me.
This is Max's first time on the show. I've had him on movie buffs before, but I don't think you've ever been on this channel.
Yeah.
It's Casey that doesn't like me.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say it, so I'm glad you did.
Yeah, well, so let's just jump on to the first topic of today. It's Fast 9. All right. I unfortunately haven't seen this movie because the theaters are still not open here. Max.
Yeah, I wanted to say it's a really amazing movie. I really loved the main character, the red car. It's incredible. Yeah, the Lightning McQueen, I think he's named. It's no, sorry, I haven't watched it either. Italy is a bit of a mess now, but I think someone else has watched it here.
Before you
Yes.
go on, Sean. Fear Jason, hello. I think you noticed the little wrench beside your name. I have made you a mod, so again, thank you for joining. I know you're a regular here, so I made you a mod. And if you see someone trolling or someone you don't like, feel free to just mute them. All right. So with that out of the way, you can go ahead and give your thoughts on Fast 9, man. Was it the masterpiece everyone was hoping it was?
Okay, so this franchise is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, okay? But
Spoiler.
I've always had fun with it, because the action sequences are cool, the one-liners are cheesy, but like they're throwbacks to the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. Vin Diesel is basically a superhero now. And so this movie, Fast 9, John Cena's at it. I'm a big fan of John Cena from wrestling, and then I followed his movie career and stuff like that. So I was excited to see him show up. He plays Dominic Toretto's brother, Jacob. So basically, something happened when they were younger. Now they meet again 20 years later or 30 years later, and they haven't spoken. Stuff happened in the past. We actually get flashbacks to what happened back to 1989. So we get younger actors playing them, and there's a whole sequence, and it actually is interesting, and I did like it. But look, the action sequences are brilliantly done. Like the way they're laid out, the camera shots, the cinematography, stuff like that. It's really well done. They put a lot of thought into this stuff, but they don't put a lot of thought into physics or gravity. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, but I can live with Vin Diesel Viking or an explosion or taking on 20 guys or Han coming back to life because he returns in this one. He was killed in previous movies by Jason Statham. I can live with all that stuff, okay? But there's one thing I can't live with. It's when two guys who have no experience with space. We see it in the trailers that they're in this kind of rocket ship. They're attached to a plane and they're talking about space. So obviously in the movie, it's not really spoilers. They go to space to an extent. So I thought that we would see them maybe just at the orbit, just kind of halfway between Earth and space. But these two guys, without spoilers, go to space without a rocket ship. Without a rocket ship. They don't wear spacesuits.
The rocket
They
ship
use
isn't
duct tape.
fast enough, man.
Well, I saw that they use duct tape, so that's that's standard on the spaceships as well, right?
They use duct tape and they don't have a spaceship and they're able to go around space. Now, I won't give away the reason why they're in space. It's actually important to it actually is important to the plot. If they don't go to space, the world is effed, right? But there's one scene that just took me completely out of the film. So they go to space without a spaceship, without suits, and then these guys are individually floating around space. This happens in the movie. I'm not even joking. But look, that part took me out of the movie, but I can live with all the other stuff. Yeah, Max is confused. He's like,
Yeah, yeah, because I thought the slingshot that we see in the trailer in the jungle, I thought that would be the dumbest thing in the movie. But now I'm like, maybe I should see this movie. Maybe I should watch Fast and Furious 9 to save cinema.
Yeah. It's doing pretty well at the box office again this week, which is great. Audiences love this franchise, love the characters because of the family aspect to it. And look, Vin Diesel is actually a very good dramatic actor. A lot of the heavy scenes in the film got to do with his brother, his family, and his son and his wife and stuff like that. It's very touching, and he's brilliant at it. That's very good. Han's return is actually very emotional and actually makes sense. You know, I was thinking, it's going to be like a Marvel thing or something like that to just bring a character back. You know, there's no consequences. There's actually a reason. There's actually a good way that he was able to fake his own death, and there's a reason behind it. And it's interesting when you watch the movie. So those stuff are really, really good. John Cena is really good as well. He's good as a villain, and he actually reminded me in some scenes of. He looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was just big. It's just his pose, the way he delivered some lines. You know, it actually just reminded me of Arnold Schwarzenegger, which isn't a bad compliment to get. So, but I can live with the slingshot stuff. I can live with a car going off a cliff and a jet coming and taking the car up by a magnet and stuff like this. I can live with all that stuff. But guys, the space thing just was really badly done. Now, I understand why they had to do it in the movie, and there's a reason they had to do it in the movie, but come up with a better idea. Like these guys are going around space with duct tape suits and oh my god, I was just like, what's going on? And there's actually times in this movie I was embarrassed to watch it. I was embarrassed for the people who made it because a lot of the scenes are just really, really. But it has problems. But I had a great time. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. The action was really well done. Vin Diesel does a lot of things that would not happen in reality or even in Fast and Furious 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. But you know what? These films are fun. They're popcorn driven. They bring people to the theaters and it's saving cinema, as Max said. So I had a good time. My only complaint is the space stuff. That's about it. Everything else I can believe. I can not believe, but I can live with. I can live with. But yeah, I'd say Fast and Furious 9. It's not. People were saying it's terrible. It's not amazing. It's not the worst film I've ever seen. I had a good time with it, and you know what? I'd probably go watch it again. And it's 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Wow.
I could have cut some time out of it because there's a lot of dialogue and a lot of talking. But I think the talking was necessary in some scenes because it added to the emotional stuff, like Jacob and Dominic Toretto, their past and their present, and then also the stuff with Han as well. There's one other thing I didn't like. The critical of is. Paul Walker, terrible what happened to him and stuff. And, I think was it Fast 7 or 8 or 7, I think, where they had kind of him go off in his own car, in his own journey. In the film, they reference him a lot. And they do stuff like, here is Brian, Paul Walker, and then it cuts to black or it goes to a different scene. And that I didn't really like. It's like he's there, but we can never see him on camera again. But I would have liked to not see him, but I just think, he's gone. Don't be bringing them back in just to say, he's there. But other than that, it was good fun, and I'd recommend it because why not? If you want to just go watch stupid action and eat your popcorn and have fun, then why not?
Awesome. I might check it out just to see how ridiculous it is. Because I haven't watched Hobbs and Shaw yet, and I'm one of those who didn't like the progression that this franchise was going. But I understand why people, pay a lot more now than they did before. I think the fourth, fifth, and sixth movies were a good balance between the racing aspect and the, heist stuff and some of the ridiculous stuff, right? Like carrying a whole damn safe with your cars. I think that was still fine. But I think it was the eighth movie that was when they were playing with the torpedoes and in the ice and all that. That movie I just didn't like. That was the last point for me, and I knew that this movie is even more ridiculous than that. So I don't know if I'm gonna watch it. I haven't watched Hobbs and Shaw yet, so I might have to watch that
Hobbs and
first.
Shaw. Hobbs and Shaw was good fun, but a lot of the action was kind of combat and hand to hand and stuff. It was unrealistic, of course, and I don't know how this character survived. They would have died in real life, but it was a little bit more believable in the movie sense.
Right.
This one is just absolutely ridiculous. And even in Hobbs and Shaw, Idris Elba's character wears a suit that kind of enhances your abilities. So it kind of added to that part of it made sense because they brought it into the plot. But here, Vin Diesel definitely died about 80 times. Tyrese Gibson died 200 times. It's actually, the opening sequence is about 15 to 20 minutes long, and it's just non-stop. And I had to get a bread after. It's just non-stop.
That's cool. All right. With that out of the way, we can jump on to the next topic, which is the Tomorrow War. So this movie I saw yesterday, and I thought that this movie was okay. It was okay. I thought this movie was a little bit better than okay. It had a lot of good visuals, a lot of great action. Actually, the whole movie is just action filled. It just doesn't stop. The second act is basically your final act, and then your third act is also another final act. Uh, it's that much action. But Chris Pratt is fine. All the others don't have any character arcs whatsoever. They're just randomly there. J.K. Simmons is really good in this movie. He plays Chris Pratt's character's dad. And the alien character, well, that's already in the trailer, so that's not a spoiler, but the alien character is really well designed, and I think the character is like basically from a very top tier movie. And it was fast, it was visceral, there were too many of them, and they were strong. The design even was scary. So, and the CGI was just near perfect. I thought that they flawlessly did the CGI for the aliens, and they meshed well with the surroundings. So and they had a lot of close-ups and all of that too, and it worked pretty well. But apart from that, the writing is terrible. The story has a lot of plot holes, but the dialogue is the worst. Like it, the dialogue is it's like from a B movie. The dialogue is so bad. But it's directed by Chris McKay, um, who did the Lego Batman movie and who is writing and directing the Nightwing movie since years. And I think he did a fine job with the material he was given from a writer's perspective. But the entire movie it just lacked that writing to make it a good movie. But I still kind of enjoyed it. I didn't feel I didn't feel like turning it off or skipping it in between. Although a lot of the middle part got boring because of too much action. Just action just keeps on happening, and you never get a pause of that. So that was cool, but the third act is also pretty well done. This is one of those movies when before the final act, you feel like the conflict is resolved and the movie is going to end, but there's a whole new set of sequence at the end, which was cool and it was a surprise. So if you're already interested in this movie, I would say check it out. But if you are not interested and you're hearing mixed reviews, I would say skip it.
How was the cinematography?
That was amazing. Like I said, the visuals were amazing.
I think it was Larry
Yes.
Fong, right?
Yeah, Larry Fong did it, and the cinematography was amazing, and the CGI also was amazing. I cannot stress this enough. The alien creatures were really good. Like, imagine the A Quiet Place creatures, how fast they are, but designs like the Thanos animals from Infinity War. So a mix of that, but 10 times better. So they were really
Would you
good.
say that? Would you say that apart from the script and the dialogue and stuff like that, it's definitely worth checking out just to see the design of the aliens and the action and see Chris Hemsworth as an action star.
I don't see. Look, I don't know because you might get super disappointed because of the stuff in the movie. So that's why I said that if you're not interested at all, don't waste your time. If you're somewhat interested in this, you liked the trailers, and you are already lowering your expectations, then I say do check it out. It's the ending at least is kind of good, and the visuals are good, so it doesn't feel like a complete waste of time. The music is also good. So there's that.
They seem to kind of try to hide this movie a
Yes.
little bit. You know, not too many reviews went out. Like, if it was really good, we would have got to see reviews a week
Yeah.
early or 2 weeks early. Like, even the marketing was very
Yeah.
poor for this movie. You know, they kind of just dropped trailers with no really hype or anticipation, really. Maybe the first one had a little bit around it because we didn't know what it was. But other than that, I thought it was poor marketing. And, like, I'm surprised. It's on Amazon, isn't it?
Yeah, that was on purpose, I think, because they knew that the movie isn't good. So they even held reviews until like 1 day before the release. And the movie just quietly released. Nobody promoted it. Nothing happened. You didn't see ads on YouTube or anything like that. We just see a banner on top. That's it. So I guess if you're watching it for free, you can enjoy some of it. So maybe it's worth checking out, but I cannot recommend it. That's just me. Some people might like it. Based on our poll, though, Sean, can you check where our poll is at?
Just keep talking.
Because when last I checked, a lot of people were actually liking it. The highest, I think, on the poll was towards the positive. And
Casey, I have a question for you, if I may. Does this movie look like a $200 million movie?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, because that's the budget of the movie. I thought it was, something less, something more like
No.
100.
It looked
the
very big.
trailers.
I would say they got their money's worth, I think, but unfortunately it won't perform well because of the mixed review. And they're not even promoting it much now.
I have the poll, but the 200 million seems like a lot. That's a ridiculously high. Considering
I was expecting that.
Some of these movies look more expensive than others. Like Jupiter's Legacy, like that budget for that was around 200 million as well, and that was 10 episodes or 9 episodes, and that didn't look like that at all. And the Tomorrow War, it looked like a massive movie, but you can shoot those kind of movies for less than 100 million or 100 million if you do it right. But that just seemed like a lot, especially with only one big star, like Chris Pratt, and not even a big director, But so we had a poll on Real Talk Live, which you can find on Twitter. The Real Talk Live. Have you seen the Tomorrow War? What did you think? Now these are the 4 options. Loved it. It was okay. Bad but enjoyable. And the last one was hasn't seen it yet. So Max, which one do you think won, Paul?
The average. The second one, let's say.
It was okay. Yeah. Okay. KC, you probably know what the answer is. So
no, I haven't seen it recently. I saw hours ago.
Okay. What do you think?
I think it was good is probably winning. I don't know, because a lot of people seem to be enjoying that movie.
Okay. Well, the winner was haven't seen it yet.
Oh, wow.
44%. So
I mean,
we talked about the marketing. Not many people were interested. The marketing wasn't that good, and 23% said they, and then 16 each for it was okay, bad but enjoyable. So people haven't seen it yet. Maybe they'll catch it over the weekend. It's only out today, yesterday or today. So there is time for it to catch an audience, but I haven't seen it either.
Well, hey, Grace Randolph liked it, so you might as well check it out.
Well, yeah.
I usually I usually like what she likes anyway, so. That wasn't supposed to be funny. That was just
Sure. We'll just move on to the next topic then, which is Fear Street 1994. Okay, so this movie is one of those that I wasn't anticipating, but it looked cool because they are doing this in a different way. They have, made three parts of this movie. Well, yeah, you could say it's a movie, but so it's very low budget though, when I saw it. But yeah, it's a three-part movie series, and it's releasing every weekend from today. So today was the first part, and that's what I have seen. Uh, I would say that it was okay. I found it a lot of I found there was a lot of cheesiness to it. I think that was on purpose though, um, because they didn't make a parody of themselves, but they had a lot of old horror movie tropes in there. Like one of the guys was like very over the top all the time. Like even for the little of things, he was just yelling and shouting, and the intensity was 99 in every scene, every little scene. And I was like, why is he doing that? And even the music was just on the intensity of 99, even when the little of things were happening. So I thought that was the style they are going with. I do enjoy the world that they created. Um, the concept is very cool. The music is amazing. The ending was also really good because it teases the next movie. And I thought that was the best part actually from the entire movie, the teaser for the next movie. So
yeah.
yeah, that's what I think
Well,
about it.
look, what caught my interest with this is that this is a trilogy that's completely shot, and every Friday a movie will come out. So this week was Fear Street 1994. Next week will be Fear Street 1978, and then the following Friday will be Fear Street Part 3 1966. So this is interesting. We've never seen this before, I don't think, have we, on streaming services where a trilogy comes out within 3 weeks. I've only seen that for shows maybe and stuff, but Netflix always drops their stuff at the one time. So this is maybe a little bit of an experiment with Netflix, maybe for some shows for the future, maybe for some part 1, part 2 movies, maybe. But just to give you the basic kind of plot for this one is a circle of teenage friends accidentally encounter the ancient evil responsible for a series of brutal murders that have plagued their town for over 300 years. Welcome to Shadyside. So basically, every 20, 15, 30 years, something terrible happens in this town. And it's all because of this demon. So this is 1994, and something terrible happens. And Casey talked about maybe over the top and the score and stuff like that. I think it was done on purpose because that's what a lot of those slasher movies were.
Yeah.
Scream, for example, and stuff like that. That's the way they kind of did it. So, yeah. So I thought it was interesting. Yeah, the pacing is terrible in this film. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we're here already. Like, I didn't really get time to. They really were. The main character I thought was very annoying.
Yeah.
She's obsessed over her a love interest that she broke up with, but now the person she liked has a new lover and stuff like that. They're all teenagers, so it's all kind of teenage drama and stuff like that. But I thought that was they were very annoying. But the gory elements are so but like bloody and terrible and stuff, and the makeup effects are very kind of low budget, but I think that was again for the reason of the 90s and stuff like that. But a lot of these scenes caught me off guard because the kind of the slasher, the killer, brutally murders these people, and we see it, Casey. There's times where like someone's head gets kind of
one of the scenes
like or a hatchet or something like that, and you get to see it, or the body is close.
Yeah, exactly. That particular scene, what you're talking about, that was in the third act, right? So the first kill, when it happens, I thought that they would probably stop, or it would not happen, or the screen would jump to someone else, cut to someone else. But no, you see it, and you see it all the way through, and you never expect it. So That was just
Yeah,
funny.
and they actually took inspiration from Scream because when Scream first came out, Drew Barrymore was in the opening sequence. She was in all the marketing. And she might have been on the posters, and everybody thought, "Oh, Drew Barrymore's in this new slasher film. Oh, pretty cool." And the opening sequence, spoilers for Scream if you haven't seen it, it's been out for like 25 years. Was killed in the opening sequence, and then the movie starts. We get something very similar like this in this movie. The actress who's in the opening scene, I won't spoil it. You've seen other things before. You've seen her before as well,
Other
and you
things.
would think, oh, she's an actress that would lead this film.
Other
What's that?
things.
Other shows and movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so the opening sequence is very similar to Scream. So yeah, I think it's interesting. People in the chat seem to be intrigued by it. Sienna and Brian and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So definitely worth checking out. It's nothing amazing, but I think the jump scares, the slasher moments are definitely intriguing. And look, the part 2 that was next week was definitely worth checking out.
Absolutely. I would definitely recommend this one. It's fun. It's not even the over the top stuff. I hate it when they break the movie. I want if they're going that route, I don't want them to make fun of themselves, or make fun of the audience, and they never do that. They're always over the top, but it's not played for comedy. It's always like serious in there, and I was like, wow,
Yeah.
okay, that's cool, because I guess that's their style now. So even with the marketing and everything, the posters, it looks like they are going with that style. So that's cool. And I'm definitely more excited for the second one, actually, because the teaser, I cannot say what it is because, some of the spoilers are in there, but the teaser for the second one is actually pretty good.
And just before I ask Max his opinion on the marketing, or if you've seen the movie, in this film we get kind of a history lesson of all the other activities that's happened in Shadyside over the last 300 years. So we actually know what happens in 1978, which is part 2, like the basic story, like with the killer, and the one in 1966. So I'm intrigued to see how they do those, because those are very, very dark.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how they do those next week. And I also think this could be something that happens regularly for this franchise, because it's based on a number of books. And there's only 3 stories they're exploring here in this trilogy. So there's definitely more to do. A movie series. So 3 of them drop every single year. That'd be interesting within 3 weeks every summer. So I'd be down for that if part 2 is interesting and good.
Yeah.
But Max, have you seen the film or the marketing, or has it intrigued you whatsoever?
I wanted to watch it, but I'm waiting for my fiancé to watch it together. But I saw the marketing, and I really, really enjoyed this. This idea of releasing these 3 movies 1 week apart, and this, saga that goes backwards in time. It's a really interesting and unusual concept, and I am interested in it. I'm not the biggest horror fan or slasher movies fan, but this is something like, at least from the promotional material I saw, something between the Stranger Things and classic slasher movie vibe for it. So I think I might enjoy it. We might enjoy it, but as of now, I haven't seen it, so I can't say.
Yeah, and even Brian Cowley is waiting for his wife to watch it with as well, his spouse. So that's that. I think it would be enjoyable to sit down with someone and watch it, Casey. I think it'd be a lot more kind of enjoyment of it, because of the jump scares and some of the gory moments where you could look at your friend or your partner and say, "Oh my god, that was this," But Casey, I think we both agree the dialogue is terrible in this film. Yeah. So it's probably.
I'm seeing a friend.
Teenager element.
But Stranger Things did it very good.
I'm seeing a friend for these 3 movies.
Yeah.
Well, Max.
I'm seeing a trend for these 3 movies: Fast and Furious, Tomorrow War, and this one. I'm seeing a trend.
Yeah, that's why those were the first 3 topics.
They're not dialogue driven movies. It wasn't written by Tarantino.
But yeah, I would definitely
I'll review
recommend this.
next. Yeah.
All right. So speaking of horror, our next topic is also somewhat horror based, horror plus fantasy actually. It's Lovecraft Country. Ah, this is one sad topic, man.
For
Yeah,
you,
I mean, look, this was one of the shows that I saw the trailer and I didn't know what to expect. And even after watching the first episode, I wasn't I didn't know what to expect from the other episodes. Even after watching the first episode, but the first episode started with like a huge Lovecraftian fantasy sequence for like 10 seconds. No, actually, it was 30 seconds. It was a big, UFOs flying. It was a big war. There were giant monster with tentacles and all that shit. And I was like, wow, this series is amazing. And then the second episode was not that good. It was very grounded and stuff. But then after that, the show picked up quite a lot. The third episode onwards, it was just every week, it was just amazing. um, the horror was not that much, but it was mostly dark magic, fantasy, and all that stuff, monsters. So, if you are a fan of all that, if you're a fan of Lovecraftian, monsters and horror in that aspect, then you'll definitely love this show. But after season one ended, and that was a very bold ending. The series also had a lot of messages, and the ending of the first season was kind of, um, I would say, could be seen as risky, because they were kind of changing history, American history. And they can do that, it's fictional, it's a fantasy, and you have, even the poster has a big tentacle monster behind them. So you know what this series is. So based on that, they were just changing, stuff from the history. And I don't know why that was an issue, but I guess that was. The showrunner, Misha Green, had apparently she had a lot of plans for season two. Apparently the cast and crew they thought that it was, they were have to come back for season two. They were ready to come back. They cleared their schedule for this season two actually, and they just got the news that it was canceled. And even I thought that it was automatically a, season two renewal, because it was that good and people were watching it. And the black community was also really supportive of it, because it was, I'm seriously saying, it was really good. Like, in every way it was
Yeah.
really good. So I don't know what led to the cancellation. It's just a surprise to me. And there was no reason. The reason given in the article was that the cast and crew and HBO agreed together that they won't continue this, which I think is bullshit, because everyone was expecting a season two, and it just canceled out of nowhere. So my hope right now is that Netflix, the savior of all shows, comes in and saves this show as well. Because I think there's a lot of great storytelling left here. So I was just excited after the finale, and I'm still excited to see it. I hope one day Netflix picks it up, or someone else picks it up, or even just HBO just renews it, after 1 year, after the merger or whatever. Have you guys
Look,
seen this?
I watched. I've heard huge praise about this show from you in particular, and when it was dropping weekly, I watched them, but I only watched the first 3 episodes. And there's a reason for that. I never watched any trailers or promos for this show, so I didn't really know what it's about. So I sat down and watched it, enjoyed the first episode, really liked Jonathan Majors, who's going to be kind of the Conqueror in Ant-Man 3, maybe Loki, see. But we also have Janice Smollett, is that her name?
Yeah.
She played Black Canary or Canary from Birds of Prey. Was that the character's
Yeah.
name? Canary.
Yeah.
So pretty good
And
cast.
she was gonna be in the
Awesome.
nightmare sequence in Zack Snyder's Justice League 2. Just kidding.
Probably, yeah, she was praising the movie a lot, so she probably would have popped up somewhere. But yeah, so I never watched any trailer, so I sat down and watched the first episode. And I was like, all right, cool, okay, what's it about? Then episode 2 came, and there's like different supernatural elements happening. Werewolves, I think, was one of them, and then vampires and stuff like that. I thought it was kind of all over the place in terms of getting me engaged with the story and the characters. Like, what is this show about? If I watched the trailers, or I might have known that it's supernatural.
Even in the trailers, it wasn't showing that.
Lore. No, it wasn't. Well, for me, I just found it hard to get into it. So I said to myself, "Oh, I get to it. I get to episode 4 eventually. I'll watch the rest of the season." And I probably would have if season 2 was happening. And I'm surprised that it was cancelled, because in the comment section, in every post yesterday, if you go into it, people were upset. Yeah. They were really annoyed at this, because the show was watched. It was successful. Even if I wasn't particularly in love with it, a lot of people were, and I probably would have watched it eventually. So I was surprised to hear that this was cancelled, especially when HBO Max is trying to become a big player. This is a show that's different from anything that's on Amazon or Netflix. So to lose something like this, I think it's a bad decision, to be honest, especially when the cast is getting bigger and bigger as actors. John Majors is going to be a Marvel film. Doesn't get any bigger than that right now in the casting world. So to lose him, I'd be trying to hold on to him at all costs, even if you had to cut the budget for season 2 or whatever the reason was for the cancellation, because losing him could be, it's terrible. HBO Max, the management there, that's bad management in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. And also I saw the when the announced on the announced tweet, there was like, I think 2,000 likes, but 5,000 quote tweets. And I was like, wow. And like Aaron says, it was a really solid show with a pretty dedicated fan base, and I completely agree. The fan base was huge, and I've never seen people who actually saw the whole show say anything bad about it. So I think a lot of people got turned off by the second episode because at that moment there was no signature style of the show, because it was jumping between horror and some fantasy and some dream sequences, and it wasn't.
Was that the episode or being chased through the forest?
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of where I kind of.
Yeah, because the series is it's not really a horror show. It's basically fantasy, because you see these monsters, you see magic, you see witches, you see all of that. So by the time you get to know all of that, it takes some time, like episode 3 or 4. But then, but by the end of the show, it's just amazing. Every character was great, and it just goes to places you will never imagine. So every week you will just keep surprising yourself. So that was really cool, and I just hope it comes back.
Yeah, I watched it. I really loved it. I wasn't expecting such an interesting and deep narration of many issues for the African American people in the US. It was really interesting to see also the social aspects of this beautiful story, but maybe it's different tastes. I think I really enjoyed the fact that one episode was tackling a different aspect of the supernatural and horror-like aspect of fantasy from the other, like the one with the chase. And I don't know, the one with the haunted house.
Yes. Oh, that episode, she killed it.
Yeah, exactly. It was really beautiful, and like I don't have numbers because HBO Max isn't so let's say doesn't share numbers very well, but I know that the book this story is based on wasn't translated in Italian until 6 months ago, because after the show they decided to translate it in Italian as well, because there was such a huge outcry for this book to be released. So with a platform that is going worldwide in the next few years, to cancel a series that's so interesting, so beautiful, with such a huge cast and with such beautiful visual effects, mythology, it doesn't make a lot of sense, especially if the producers and the creators, let's say, and the cast were behind for a second season. So and it doesn't make sense. Now I'm really scared for Raised by Wolves and the Dune prequel, because if they cancel Lovecraft Country, what will they do if next season of Raised by Wolves doesn't do as well as they as they want? Will they cancel that as well? I think that HBO Max should create a strong spine of powerful and unique shows like this, and not cancel them after season 1, or maybe making series after movies, cuts of movies released, like the Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder's Justice League. But let's digress.
Yeah.
Like these big businessmen and women and executives, they don't like to blame themselves. When they see the HBO Max subscription numbers, they want to blame the talent or the shows or movies that they're putting out. So they might look at Raised by Wolves, they might look at Lovecraft Country, they might look at The Flight Attendant and say, oh, well, that's the reason we didn't get our subscriptions. It's not because our marketing wasn't good enough. It wasn't because we didn't have our platform in all territories when it was supposed to be. No, it's because it was Lovecraft Country's fault. Let's get rid of it. That's the mentality people have. They want to blame somebody else instead of taking the blame on themselves and say, we messed up in terms of our marketing. How can we do better for the next season of Raised by Wolves, Flight Attendant, and Lovecraft Country? How can we license it out to maybe a territory that has a bigger scope? Like just say in Italy, whatever your main television company is, let's try and get it there so more people watch it and stuff like that. Let's try and work on this. Let's try and make this HBO Max or show as a success. But I just think they like to blame talent or show the unsuccessful subscription rate. They want it to be better and up there with Netflix, but it's going to take time, and it's not going to help by cancelling shows.
Yeah, it really sucks, and I just hope that they somehow bring it back, either them or Netflix. They sell the rights to Netflix.
Yes, I agree. Sell everything to Netflix.
Yeah. All right, so we can move on to the next topic here, and it's a Marvel topic. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. So this movie is currently filming, and there's a quote by Kevin Feige. He says, "It's clearly very emotional without Chad, but everyone is also very excited to bring the world of Wakanda back to the public and back to the fans. We're going to do it in a way that would make Chad proud." So there's a lot of questions regarding how they will navigate the death of Chadwick in this movie, and how they'll address the character and what's going to happen. Will they use CGI? Hey, and we're back. And what the hell happened? Maher is at the bottom now, and Max is on top.
So, Max, how is Italy?
Oh man, I
Fix
don't
it,
know what happened
KFC. Come
here.
on.
Well, we can you can continue talking. I'll fix that.
Okay, well,
About Black
Black Panther.
Panther.
Yeah, cool. So, yes, Kevin Feige was talking about, you know, Chadwick Boseman, of course, terrible. I couldn't believe the news when that dropped last year. I think it was last August where him passed away. I couldn't believe it. I was very sad. I know a lot of people were as well. He was brilliant in Civil War. His own solo movie was, I think, redefining for a lot of people in the comic book movie genre because a black lead and it was a successful movie. It made I think it made a million as well. So the future was very Chadwick Boseman. He was brilliant in The Five Bloods as well. He was going to be a multiple Oscar winner. He was a brilliant actor. He really was. But it's a shame what happened. I think the biggest concern is what they're going to do in Black Panther 2. Like, will they recast T'Challa? Just have a new actor come in and don't reference that the actor's changed, like Don Cheadle, something like that. I don't want them to do that. I think that's a little bit disrespectful to Chadwick Boseman, in my opinion, because this is a Marvel Cinematic Universe, everything ties together and stuff like that. But I just think make Black Panther 2 and make it as a tribute towards him and what the legacy of T'Challa really is. If it's going to be Shuri or if it's going to be one of the other characters that becomes Black Panther, then do that. But I don't want to recast, but I want it to be just in memory of a great actor and a really good person who did a lot of people in need in his personal life. So I have no doubt whatsoever that they will respect him and his family. And Kevin Feige is one of the greatest producers of all time, and I think his decision, whatever it is, will probably be the best decision. Some people won't like it. Everyone has different opinions about when an actor passes away and stuff like that. But I think that Ryan Coogler, the director, the cast, and Kevin Feige will want to do the right thing. I think they will.
Max?
I agree. I was shocked. The Chadwick's death hit me way too hard. I didn't expect that it would affect me as much as it did, because it's not something that I was expecting to witness in the next 40, 50 years, let's say. But seeing that, it was really, really, really sad, a really dark moment for everyone, for any movie fan. And I had this feeling that with Black Panther 2, they will do Chadwick justice. I'm personally expecting some way they will maybe bring him back to show him die in some way on screen, or maybe do. I think they will close his arc in a better way than maybe Paul Walker in the Fast and Furious saga. I think that they will do something to elevate his status as an icon in the MCU without recasting or do stuff like that and having come back in cheap versions, let's say. So yeah, I cannot wait to see what they do, and I'm hopeful that they will do him justice, let's say.
That's going to be a hard
to
watch. Black Panther 2. I think it will be. Like, even thinking about it right now, it's emotional.
Yeah.
So, look, they're filming right now, and I'm sure everybody on that cast and on that crew and the director, Kevin Feige, are going to do everything they can just to represent his family and him in the best possible way. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm also not, because it's going to be very hard to watch. But I'm looking forward to seeing story-wise how they can pay tribute to him, definitely.
Yeah. And I'll definitely be watching that in a theater as well. I don't think I've missed any single Marvel Cinematic Universe movie since the first one in the theaters.
Nice.
So the only one I think I will be missing is Black Widow. because of it
Yeah.
released really soon now, so I'm not able to.
Yeah.
But anyway, I hope they do him justice, and I'll be curious to see how they do it. It's definitely a big responsibility, like you guys said.
Yeah.
So you know that whatever they do, some people will definitely be not happy with it. So it's a difficult task, no matter what decision they take. And they've already pissed off half the people who wanted the character to be recast and continue. They've already said that they won't be recasting, so half the people already are upset, and they probably might change the
As always.
yeah, they probably might change their mind after watching the movie and how they do it. So it all depends on how they handle it.
At the end of the day, I think that they, Feige and Kugler, will go to his family and will decide what to do with his character with them. And if the family thinks that whatever they do is fair and respectful and honors Chadwick's legacy, I'm totally okay with
Me
it.
too.
And like, there's the thing, like you can say that no actor is bigger than the character, like a Superman or a Batman.
Yeah.
But here it's different. I think it is.
Yeah.
It's not like Chadwick Boseman had a falling out with Marvel or was disrespectful in public or that he was recast or he had to leave the role. The man died while he was Black Panther.
Yeah.
After having 3-4 successful movies, Endgame, Infinity War, Civil War, and Black Panther. I think, you have to. He is bigger than the character, in my opinion, of Black Panther.
Yeah.
In terms of he's T'Challa, he is the T'Challa Black Panther. That's not to say that Black Panther can't come back and be portrayed by Shuri or portrayed by one of the other characters from Wakanda. I'd be okay with that 100%. But I think to recast would be just a little bit disrespectful to Chadwick Boseman and what he did. But no, T'Challa is his forever. Black Panther can come and go, but he will probably be the definite.
Yeah,
Black
and
Panther,
I also think
for now,
that recasting would have not been fair to the new actor because nobody would have accepted him. So
Yeah.
it was a losing game anyway. So I think they made the best choice.
Yeah.
All right. So we can move on to the next topic, which is another MCU project, which is coming soon. But we haven't seen a trailer for it. It's Spider-Man No Way Home, and this is a multiverse movie. So recently, what happened was, well, actually, I think it was yesterday. To everyone's surprise, there were some random toy, pictures that released, and these, I know, like before we get into all of the speculation and everything, the disclaimer clearly is that not every time are the toys actually accurate to the movie. So some toys are like, even with DC stuff, there are some characters that they'll just make the toys of, but they'll never end up on screen. So that could happen here as well, but I don't think so. I think this movie was supposed to, come out, and they've already gave the designs for the toys, and as per the toy schedule, because they won't be postponed, they've already started making them and started marketing them. So based on that, these designs I think look pretty cool. My favorite I think is the black suit with the golden lines. That looks pretty good to me. And apart from that, the other Lego toys are good. One of the toys here that's fascinating me is one of the Spider-Man ones that has kind of a power of Doctor Strange. So I don't know exactly what that is, and on the box, it says mysterious web, something. So I don't know exactly what that is, but maybe it could be a Spider-Man Doctor Strange mix from one of the timelines or universes they travel to or something, to make it funny or something like that. So that's cool. What's surprising here is, well, Doctor Strange is in this movie, and I didn't know that. there's also Wong in this movie. And there's also Scorpion in this movie. Well, it definitely looks like Scorpion. There's a mechanical Scorpion like toy in this. And it also has that stinger that Scorpion has, and it's holding Wong. So, this movie looks to be very ridiculous, in the best possible way. There's a lot of stuff in it. And on top of that, you have like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's rumors until now. So
We should ask Alfred
yes.
Molina.
So you guys saw these pictures. What did you guys think?
Yeah, look, the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, there's probably toys made of them. Like, I'm guessing, because remember The Mandalorian, Baby Yoda toys were very well hidden, and stuff like that. We didn't know. And then when Baby Yoda made his appearance on Mandalorian, then the toys started to be released. So I'm guessing those toys were already made. Maybe some of Green Goblin and Alfred Molina's Doc Ock. That'd be awesome. But just to tell people as well, and some of those toys that were released, especially the kind of the box ones with loads of items in it, it did have Far From Home on it as well, inspired by Far From Home. So some of those designs could just be from that movie, or some of the designs they never used for that movie, or something like that. So we have to take that into account as well. And the Superman suits look pretty cool. It looks like he's going to have at least 3 suits in this movie. His original one, maybe an upgraded one, and then the black one, which looks cool. And maybe that's kind of maybe some Wakanda technology. I don't know, because the black, that's kind of what came into my head. I don't know if that's true or not.
Or is that Night
and
Monkey?
Also, there's kind of a toy there. Yeah. It could be an upgraded night monkey or something like that as well. Yeah. But there was one where he's kind of has these web, something that's making his webs bigger or something like that. I think that could be to maybe fight Sandman if he's going to be in this movie. Because if you go back to Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire found it very hard to beat Sandman. Very hard. He could hardly ever do it. So maybe Doctor Strange and Spider-Man have to come up with some upgrades to defeat the Sinister Six. Because his suit the way it is now, he might not be able to take on Doc Ock or Green Goblin or Sandman. He may need to, maybe he sees how the other Spider-Men were defeated in certain aspects, so he has to upgrade and then he can beat them. Maybe something like that. They explore the multiverse. And the kind of blue kind of technology that's on his suit, I don't know if that's from Doctor Strange or it looks like, if you remember in Far From Home, when he gets on the kind of aircraft with Happy, he has to upgrade his suit and build his own suit again. A lot of it looks like the technology used in that scene where they play the Back in Black music as well. So I think maybe he upgrades that one himself, and maybe Doctor Strange is able to enhance it later on. But yeah, it's interesting, and the bike would be cool to see Spider-Man ride a bike, a motorcycle type bike. That'd be cool, or to fly with wings. Stuff like that is awesome. I think it's because if you go back to the Amazing Spider-Man franchise or the Spider-Man franchise, the suit was never really upgraded that much. It was more or less the same. It's cool in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we get these upgrades. So look, I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. I'm intrigued to see how they bring all the Sinister Six into it, if they're in it. It looks like they are. Is Toby and Andrew in it, and how long, and what will they look like? I hope they have their iconic suits. I'm okay with Tom Holland changing his up. Max.
Yeah, I when I saw the first suit, the not the black one, the one with the golden spider in it, I wasn't thrilled. Let's say I felt it was okay, but
You hated it.
If Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are in this movie with their iconic suits, that suit would clearly not be the most iconic one. Let's say it would be like between the two of the best superhero costumes ever made, that would be at least from the design I saw from a toy in the movie, I'm sure it will look fantastic. But then when I saw the Falcon with the Spider-Man apparently using Doctor Strange's magic, I was like, this movie could be really, really amazing. In a way, Peter Parker is a character that we can, we can draw parallels with Bruce Wayne, Batman, because they're both very smart and they can both overcome different issues and adapt a lot with their threats. So maybe Doctor Strange will teach Peter a few, quick. If you get thrown to this multiverse where everyone is dying and you will die in 5 seconds, do this and you will go back to this other universe. Maybe those kind of spells will be that. I don't know if they will give him, a Doctor Strange suit or something like Doctor Strange will teach him, here's are these 3 spells. You can use them if you have to with the multiverse issues that you will face. But besides that, I think that the toys look cool. I'm really enjoying the Lego lines that they're doing, especially the Doctor Strange with the cape and on the drill that's following Peter. And yeah, I am really looking forward to this movie, to this first multiverse movie, let's say. So I think that we must be close to the first trailer. It must be, a question of weeks, not even months now, because they are. I think that with these toys we'll probably get in the teaser this stuff like the new costumes, maybe an ending with Peter using some kind of magic, Doctor Strange. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped. I wasn't expecting it, but yeah, I'm really really hyped.
Nice. Me too, man. Yeah, so all these toys look amazing, and there are too many villains in this. Maher, we can't hear you.
No. I was going to say the necklace or the thing that Doctor Strange kind of has around his neck, that was used to hold the time stone. So I'm wondering why.
Yeah, the Eye of Agamotto, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder what he's holding this time, or maybe they get the time stone back because of the multiverse. I'm interested to see what that's about. Maybe
Time
it's
stone is
not.
nothing, man.
Maybe it's just because it could be just for the toy.
Yeah, time stone is just a paperweight now.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, man, it looks crazy. There are a lot of characters and different versions of the same characters. You know what? There's also different versions of Doctor Strange that kind of looks like he's wearing something that he would wear at home, and he has a I don't know what it's called, the thing that you dig with. Oh, shovel, yeah.
A shovel?
He's holding a shovel for something.
He's trying to resurrect Superman.
That's it. That's what he's doing. He's trying to resurrect Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
Oh. He's burying the DCU.
Oh man, I don't know what they're doing with this movie, and it's just fascinating to see. I don't know if you guys saw this the other day. Kevin Feige. Someone asked Kevin Feige, what does he think of Alfred Molina spilling out all the beans, and his reaction was hilarious.
Yeah, he was so sad. Like I never saw him so not even angry. It was just really
helpless.
sad. It was like
he felt helpless because
what did
he can't do anything.
Yeah,
it's Alfred Molina. It's not Tom Holland. You can't just go and say, "Hey man, what are you doing?"
You're not gonna give out to such a huge actor like that who's not used to the comic book movie, multiple contract movie thing. But just people who didn't see it, Casey, could you tell them what Kevin Feige kind of said?
Yeah, he basically was. I think he was shocked to hear that question first of all. So he kind of stumbled and didn't know what to say. But he said something along the lines of, "Some people have a microphone and they talk, and I have a microphone and I don't." He just said that, and I was like, "That was so weird."
I think it was a slight dig.
Yeah. Yeah, and afterwards they asked him if I think Toby and Andrew were going to be in the new Spider-Man movie, and he said something like "Ask Alfred Molina." So yeah,
I didn't see that
it's,
part.
either it's a big marketing ploy or he's really
He
really
is.
bitter.
I mean, we know how
Well,
secretive he keeps his art.
Yeah.
he can't really say anything because it's a
Yeah,
Sony movie. It's not a
that's true.
cinematic Marvel movie.
This is why he
So
doesn't like to mix up with others.
yeah, exactly. No, we're all looking forward to it. It should be interesting to see different suit designs and to see hopefully Toby and Andrew show up and be presented in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we'll be moving on to the final topic of today, which is Zack Snyder's Horse Latitudes. Man, it's just here. It's just his year, man. It's just his year.
Yeah.
What can we say about this man?
He
Yeah,
won.
he did.
He won.
He has a new movie coming out. It hasn't started filming yet. They are casting as of right now, and this is from the Illuminati, I think. They're
Yeah.
And they're doing some camera
Yeah.
tests I saw
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the red camera.
Exactly. And I think they are in the casting phase, but this isn't, coming from Hollywood Reporter or Variety or, Rick Trades like that. But Illuminati said that I forgot what his name is, the Ant-Man villain. Yeah.
Yellow Jacket, but I forgot his name as well.
So him and Henry Allen, he was cast. Billy Crudup. He worked on Watchmen with Zack Snyder. He was Dr. Manhattan, and he also worked with Zack on Justice League. Corey Stroll. And he worked on Zack Snyder's Justice League, and he was amazing in it. Everyone was blown away by his performance. It was one of the most emotional scenes of the movie, and then he said no to the Flash film because of scheduling conflicts. But we know what that means. It could be anything. But somehow, magically, he got free to do this movie. What are your thoughts on that?
Always got time for Zack Snyder. And rightfully so, because Zack Snyder is always treated him with respect, and I'm sure giving him a great working environment. Watchmen is Zack Snyder's Justice
Also, his
League.
movies don't get postponed for like 7 years.
Yeah, he was attached to the Flash movie for years. Like, I bet you he turned down roles because he thought the Flash film was going to be filming next week, or not next week, but a few months, over the years, because new directors came onto it and new stars and stuff like that. And new writers. We thought, oh, here it is, 6 months time, Flash is going to film. I bet you he turned down roles. I bet you Ezra Miller turned down roles. I bet you that's why Kiersey Clemons probably dropped out and had to be brought back into it because they were just fed up with waiting. So yeah, it's amazing how he's got time for Zack Snyder and his movie. But Horse Latitudes, it's going to be shot in South America. I think Zack was waiting for the COVID numbers to go down or to be safe and shoot in. So yeah, I don't know if South America. Is there an echo? I don't know if South America
listening to us on speaker, I think.
Yeah. I'm sorry, my computer crashed a bit. I'm sorry.
You're hearing a bit of echo.
But it's supposed to be a bit of echo.
Do you hear some echo now?
Yeah, you can hear me.
Okay.
Hello?
Is it better now?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's supposed to shoot in South America. COVID was high there, that's why they haven't been shooting. But if they're in talks, it's probably certain that they're going to be signing on pretty soon for the role. And then it will officially come out for the big trades. The Illuminati has been writing about a lot of things in the past and stuff like that. So they're pretty reliable in that sense. And we know that Zack Snyder has wanted to shoot this movie pretty soon. So it's going to be a smaller budget movie. This is probably going to be Zack Snyder's smallest movie ever. It's going to be more character driven. And the budget's not going to be massive visual effects and CGI or anything like that. It's going to be exploring Zack's kind of like more, I would say more of his creative mind, because he doesn't have the ploys of CGI or visual effects or things like that, or sound stages. He's going to have to get out in the environment and do it, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, Max, do you know what the plot is for this? It's based on the book The Fountainhead, or am I wrong?
I think that Horse Latitudes is based on this original story of this photographer and this soldier, this veteran, I think, that hunt down or at least look for a murder that killed an ambassador and his family. I think I read it a few days ago, and I cannot wait. I think that the premise looks fantastic, even the fact that Zack is doing this in a more of smaller movie way with him, and I think he said something like 20 cast members and crew members max going around in South America. I think that it can be something really, really special, something, some might say Oscar baity, but for Zack, this is a wide term. I think that with casting going forward now, we might get some pretty interesting details, soon. I would love for this movie that, as far as I know, isn't being released by Netflix or Warner Bros. Let's not even talk about them, or other studios. So imagine if A24 decides to, it would be something, something really, really, really special. And I think that Zack, especially now after Justice League and Army of the Dead, I think Zack has a chance to, partner with them on a movie like this. I think it would be a really good move on both ends. So yeah, let's hope that he manages to do so, and I can't wait to see whoever casts next, because these two actors are fantastic, are amazing in, when they're given the right material, they're really, really incredible.
Yeah.
So I always get confused. This isn't the Fountainhead
that's another
story,
movie.
is it? Or is that a different story?
The Fountainhead story is something like an architect that bombs his building. It's really, really, shortened out, but they stole the plans for his building. They want to change it, and he says, no, you can't change my building. I will destroy it before you change what I did.
Zack's biography.
So it's exactly. So this is more. I think it was his original idea completely. I don't think it was inspired by anything, as far as I know.
And it's also it was called The Last Photograph before, and now the name changed to Horse Latitude.
Yeah, interesting. I'm interested in this one because it's an original kind of idea. It's not a comic book movie. It's not an adaptation of. Yes, yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see Zack direct this and get down in the dirty and do this in South America. So interested, and I'm sure once he makes it, it's probably going to be a Stone Quarry production funded that way, and maybe a few other smaller production companies. It probably won't be a huge budget anyway. So I'm sure it will be picked up then by somebody, and if not Netflix, then some other
A24
company. But Netflix looks like A24 would be awesome. It really would. But I think I think what would be cool to do is for him to make the movie, and for not to give it to any studios or like a Netflix yet. Bring it around all the festivals, let it get some hype through the festivals if it's good.
Yeah,
and then A24 could come in or Netflix could come in, and then there's already chatter about it. There's already maybe Oscar talk or awards talk about it, and then it gets picked up. I think that'd be a cool way for a Zack Snyder film to be a festival movie instead of a.
Yeah. Am I wrong, or didn't Zach go to? I think it was either Cannes or Venice with the 300.
Oh, 300. I'm not sure which one.
I think. Let me search.
But yeah, getting into those festivals would mean a lot, especially because, most of Zach's filmography is just adaptations and a couple of original stories, right? And it's almost all of them. Actually, all of them are just genre stuff. He's never made a drama movie, right? So this probably would be the first one that people actually see what his style would be in this kind of genre, and they might appreciate him more, and they will finally realize that well, it's not that they don't realize what he's doing, they just don't like it. So with a drama film, they will just realize that he has the talent to do this, and they might look at it differently, because going into a comic book movie with Zack Snyder sets you up for different types of expectations and preconceived notions about Zack Snyder, a Zack Snyder film. But this would be different.
Because everybody has a Batman. Everybody has a Batman you love. And then when they see one they don't, they're very critical. So, or a Superman. So yeah, I can see what you're saying there. Nobody has, I've already seen this movie.
My Billy Crudup isn't like that.
It was Berlin's Movie Festival in 2007.
Nice.
Yeah, it was Berlin's Movie Festival. It was not in the race for awards, but it was presented there first.
And that film had a lot of chatter around it in terms of it's really good, and this director Zack Snyder is pretty amazing. So maybe going back to his roots per se, and that I think it'd be cool to see a movie like that go around the festivals and to get that kind of hype. If it's good, it has to be good, of course. But let's see. But the casting is pretty good, and the director is great, and I'm interested.
Also, speaking of, this image, by the way, is created by Aaron Bailey. And it's just amazing. I look how cool it is. Even the font and this actually image is super large too. Like the quality of these pictures, both of them, and then the background, it's amazing. I just really loved it, man.
Wait, I thought it was something, from the right.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
This is fan art by Aaron Bailey.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. It doesn't surprise me. He's really great.
Yeah, he's got some cool pieces on his. You should definitely follow him on Twitter, on Instagram as well. He puts up kind of like, even one of the ones I loved he did was of Lex Luthor and kind of Dr. Poison, of where she kind of, if the movies happened, Lex visits her and something like that. That'd be like, he did kind of something like that. It was pretty cool, them two in one picture. So no, that's awesome. But who do we think the two actors is playing? I think one of them is supposed to be a war veteran. The other is it a journalist? I'm not sure. I can't remember. Was it
a photograph?
Photographer.
Photographer. Sorry, a photographer. He's not a photographer. He's a photographer. Yeah.
Which actor do we think is playing the ex-military guy?
Corey, probably.
You think? I think either of them.
I think Billy Crudup is definitely the photographer. I mean, he just looks like a photographer.
Yeah, I don't know. That's because that picture, like, it looks like he's being a model.
I think like Casey, that Chris Roll will be the veteran, the soldier, but the roles could be exchanged and it would work perfectly. Like, really, a photographer, like, a more rugged and brutal photographer could also work. So yeah, I'm interested, and perhaps neither of them is in character. Now Ben Affleck.
Yeah, they cast somebody now, like, I don't know, like Bruce Willis is the war veteran or something. We're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, we thought we
I,
had it.
I was hoping for something, but yeah, it's a big stretch. But imagine if Clay was the photographer in the movie.
Going meta.
Well, he's had his stuntmen as actors, and women, stunt team as actors in his movies. So who's to say he wouldn't put Clay in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't know when this movie's coming out. We don't know the rest of the cast.
We don't even know the
We don't know
full
when they're
plot,
shooting,
actually. It
but
was
this
just
is-
2 lines that Max read out.
Yeah.
That's all we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're excited because it's one of our
Yeah,
favorite
for
directors.
sure. And even
Yes.
just out of curiosity, I'm excited to see this because even I am curious to see what how he would make other genres. So a drama would not have as much slow motion gunfights and all that stuff, right? It will just be pure drama, and some of the sad scenes might be in slow motion, but that won't be a lot. So it's kind of restricting him and his style in this genre because it's just 2 people talking for the most part. So it's going to be fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, we have concluded our show today with some difficulties, but we're finally done with our final topic, and let's just jump on to the questions here. Max, do you have some time? We have just a couple of questions.
Sure.
It's just a quick fire question. Few questions
Yeah.
from some of our viewers from Instagram and Twitter. Quick thoughts.
All right.
Go ahead, Casey.
The first question is from Tribolo Gigolo. He asks, best films for the first 6 months of 2021.
I'll go real quick. I'll go. Well, my favorite of 6 months so far, of course, Zack Snyder's 2 movies, Harvey Dent, Zack Snyder's Justice League. I would say Nobody, Bob Odenkirk's Nobody, made by the John Wick team. Very, very good. Check it out. Wrath of Man, Guy Ritchie, Jason Statham film. Brilliant. Check that
I
out.
saw that.
A Quiet Place 2 as well.
Yeah, it
Well,
was
Wrath of Man
awesome. I
or
saw
Quiet Place?
both were awesome.
Yeah, so those are probably my top 5. Outside of that, I can't really think of too many, but definitely those 5 are my favorite of 2021
Yeah,
so
my
far.
list is the same.
Max?
Yeah, I haven't watched many movies these last few months, but I think that there's only one possible. I after all these years, with the baggage that this movie has, I think Zack Snyder's Justice League takes the cake. And I think that this year can be as well a really, really great year for movies. On the the big blockbuster area, we have all the Marvel stuff that's coming out, etc. But also on the maybe smaller, more personal aspect of things, like we have a lot of movies like the new Wes Anderson movie. We have Dune. That's not
Yeah.
a small movie, but it's a weird project, let's say. I think that this year could be really, really, really great. So I look forward to what we
too.
will see.
So, Tribolo, thank you for joining, man. And that was a great question. It really got me thinking. And also, you came in at the exact time when your question popped up. So that was great. All right. So the next question is from Siani. She asks, do you think Spider-Man No Way Home is going to explore the multiverse?
Oh, well, it has. I think so, yeah. It has to. Toby, well, no confirmation yet, but we all think Toby and Andrew are going to be in it.
Yeah.
They better be in it.
They
This better
better
not
be in it.
a Quicksilver, Doctor Strange, WandaVision thing. They better be in it. But yeah, I think it's going to be cracked open. And, Loki, they've talked about it. So I don't know if Loki's directly tying into Spider-Man 3 in the multiverse, but yeah, the multiverse is definitely being talked about. So I think
Yeah,
so.
me too. I think that especially Toby and Garfield, even though they're not confirmed, well, at least we can talk about the ones that are confirmed, right? Doc Ock is confirmed. Electro is confirmed, so that just basically, and he's playing the same character, so that just basically confirmed that it's going to happen. Next.
Yeah, Molina confirmed that. I hope it's not a spoiler. Molina said it in
Watch
an
out for
interview.
Kevin Feige.
But yeah, yeah, a red dot starts to appear on my forehead. I Molina said that the movie, his character's arc starts at the end of Spider-Man 2. So yeah, I think it's something that's all but confirmed now that it will be a multiverse movie, yet another multiverse movie. We have like that one. We have a Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I think it's called. So, and we don't know what the next Avenger movie will be about. So, I think yeah, this Phase 4 will be a multiverse phase.
All right, thank you for sending that, Siani. That was a great question. Our next question comes from Tribolo again. Do you think any of the blockbuster films held over the past year because of COVID have aged?
Well, it's definitely hurt some of them, I think, in terms of maybe hype. But then again, Fast and Furious is making a lot of money, and that was pushed back a full year. Black Widow is set to open above the predicted 70 million domestically. So has it really hurt it? James Bond, I'm sure, will be a big hit. Dune. I think things are getting back right, especially in the US. Europe's a little bit weird right now because of this new variant of COVID, which is hitting, which is a shame. So I don't know how long theaters will stay open in Europe, but in America they're very much open. So I think Suicide Squad could still do well. I just think it's whether full capacity is available in these theaters or not. And then if America goes into another lockdown of COVID or anything like that, then of course it will affect them. But I don't know if it has affected in terms of hype. A Quiet Place did well. So if you asked me this in January, I probably would have said, yeah, it's going to affect them. But there's been no signs of it so far.
I think some of the movies will definitely age a bit because they probably weren't up to that standard when they were being made anyway. So if you postpone that 2 years, then those probably will age, and Black Widow looks to be one of them. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, some of the movies like that might definitely look aged, and the hype could die down because of that. So yeah, but I don't think any of the Marvel movies or Dune. I don't think those movies will age.
Yeah, same for me. I think that perhaps the only movie that suffered a lot from this, constant postponement of because of COVID was Wonder Woman 84. I think that's the only movie that really, really suffered from it because they already have teasers, trailers, marketing. We know a lot of stuff. So when it came out, we already know 80% of the movie, and the stuff we didn't know wasn't perhaps the most, surprising stuff. Let's say it wasn't a reveal, some kind of big reveal, big characters, but it was more intimate moments. So yeah, I don't think that these upcoming movies will suffer, especially because we haven't seen much from them. I don't think we like from the James Bond, the new James Bond. We've had a few trailers, but nothing too big. We have had a pretty normal marketing campaign for the rest of the movies, like the Suicide Squad. Dune only had a trailer. So yeah, I don't think that those movies will suffer too much from this, this thing. Hopefully, if COVID stops and everything goes, if not away, at least gets in check for the time this movie release. But yeah.
Can I change my answer? One that literally aged was New Mutants.
Dude.
The cast.
That's a great answer. Yeah. All right, that was a great question and a great answer. Thank you for that. We'll move on to the next question, sent by the Grim Knight. I have a question regarding Spider-Man 3. Do you think Toby will be in it? No. If yes, how big do you think his role will be? And will No Way Home set the door open for a fourth Toby Spider-Man movie? I hope so. And that's what I have been saying for a long time now. I just can't understand why they can't make another Toby movie or another Garfield movie. Just make the Amazing Spider-Man 3 and finish his trilogy, man. Come on, Tony. Come on.
Yeah, and like I've said this to you before, why can't Tom Holland be the MCU Spider-Man and the multiverse cracks open and Sony
Yeah.
have their own universe of Vulture, of Venom, of either Miles Morales is the new Spider-Man for Sony, or Tobey comes back, or Andrew, or both of them come back and they mentor Miles Morales, like the Into the Spider-Verse film, something like that would be awesome. Live action version of that would be cool, and maybe even put Spider-Man 4 and the Amazing Spider-Man 3 together into one movie or something like that, and then let Miles Morales be the next Spider-Man. Something like that I think would be awesome. Why not do it? We have multiple Batmans right now, multiple Supermans across all brands, so I'd be all for it, and I hope Sam Raimi gets the itch for comic book movies again after Doctor Strange 2 and is like, Kevin or Sony, I would like to do Spider-Man 4, and they would be stupid not to take up that opportunity, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Toby, I think he must be in the movie. It would be such a weird thing to have this movie without them after all these years of chatter behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, I think he will be in the movie. And the other thing, the other part, let's say, of the question, I think they might consider it because the multiverse is supposed to open new doors, open new stuff, new narrative possibilities, not, close everything. And this is not a dig about the current gestion of the DCU, but I digress. the thing is that Sony now could they will say, yeah, you can use Tom Holland for your Avengers stuff, and we will use maybe Andrew Garfield for the Venom verse, let's say, and Tobey Maguire for the Mobius verse or something similar. I don't know. And that would be a win-win-win situation for Sony, Marvel, Disney, and Dolby fans. So yeah, I think the money will speak and money will win. So we probably will get something else if Toby wants to,
Recently, a
come back.
fan, stopped him at a park or something, and he asked him if he's in the movie, and he just smiled and winked at him. Oh, there's your answer.
That fan is really brave. I remember some reactions online that I saw online from Toby, from some, I think they were paparazzi, with a camera and a car, and I would be scared to confront him and ask him with a camera, hey, can we take a picture? Talk about your Spider-Man world. So yeah.
Well, you have to remember, he was one of the biggest stars in the world when those movies were coming out. That was like crazy. So I wouldn't be surprised in getting annoyed. I think now he's older and he hasn't been in many things yet. He's stood back from everything. Maybe he wants to get back into it and he can handle that kind of stuff a little bit more now. But yeah, it is pretty annoying.
Yeah, but it also is like they probably are at their best behavior 99.9% of the time, and then one time somebody takes out a camera and they get caught on their mistake. So that's what people say they are always, and I don't think that's true. And everybody says that he's a fine.
It's without privacy. It's really a nightmare. I couldn't live with that. So yeah, I absolutely understand why they react like that sometimes, because imagine going to buy some milk and a few dozens of people come and take your
Imagine
picture.
ordering
Right?
home and just
It would-
taking your donuts from your doorstep.
And then Dunkin' Donuts shake falls off live. There's a picture while it's falling. It would be pretty embarrassing, right? Ben? Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Casey.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that would be pretty crazy. So yeah, those were all the questions for today. Thank you everyone for sending those. Those were amazing. Thank you, Max, for answering. And today's best answer, unfortunately, is not either one of us. It's from Sean, the New Mutants.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A round of applause.
I win this. I don't even know what this is.
Yeah. So, all right then, let's wrap the show. And I apologize for the power cut. That was not in my control, so I cannot do anything. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining. That was a fantastic show, Max. Thank you for joining. It was lovely having you. I'm messaging you every single week, but you said yes today, so thank you for that.
I'm sorry. They lifted the lockdown here, so we can finally go out to see our friends.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I just
Our
asked
real friends.
yeah, real friends.
But you're real friends. Let me.
Yeah. Well, you can find us at The Real Talk Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And you can find me at Krypton Caged on all social media. Where can they find you, Maher?
Yeah, movies that matter on everything.
Awesome. Where can they find you, Max?
You can find me on Twitter with on the @supasbatsi, and then you can find me on YouTube on the Minuteman channel. We interview some people. We managed to interview.
Oh, nice. I'll also mention that, you interviewed Zack Snyder and also Richard Citron, which both of those were amazing. I really loved it. So if you haven't checked it out yet, guys, absolutely go and check it out right now. Especially because Richard Citron gives us some exclusives about Army of the Dead and the future stuff. Yeah. All right, then we'll see you next week. I'm not sure if I'm not sure if we'll have a show on Wednesday because my shift has changed for work. So we'll figure out what the timing is. But we'll definitely be back next Saturday. So until then, see you guys.